we look at things for what they are, good or bad, and certainly you've shared things that have been positive as well. Does anything come to mind?
Yeah, some families got their children back. Some people won some appeals, and just the general interactions with some families were very positive and fun, and made work that much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
There was no crushing victory or waving the banners here and there, but it's the little ones that really mean the most to me, because they're at times are the most hard fought.
Yeah.
Increasing in somebody's visit from 3 hours a week with their child to 4 hours a week is a big victory. So those are, it's a little victory in context, but
that's big.
Emotionally, and that is big. So those kind of things. And
it's those things that keep us going. Welcome to the Mark Cherrington podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm one of Mark's volunteers. In this episode, we delve into the lives of vulnerable individuals in Alberta, particularly Edmonton, tackling issues often hidden by bureaucratic red tape and societal misconceptions. In this episode, Mark shares personal stories and discusses topics like legal aid challenges and pervasive effects of intergenerational trauma. A little bit of heavy stuff at times, I'm not going to lie to you. Mark highlights the ongoing crisis with Legal Aid Alberta and details the dire consequences of government miscommunications and, as we see it, ultimatums. He shares heart-wrenching stories of families grappling with intergenerational trauma as a result of colonialism, including one family profoundly affected by the legacy of residential schools. We candidly discuss the struggles families face with income support and housing, stressing the need for affordable housing and sufficient income amid rising costs of living and bureaucratic obstacles. Despite these challenges, he celebrates uplifting moments, such as a young mother who's securing a new home after months living in a motel, and the positive impact of programs like the Green Shack, which provides children with recreational activities and a safe environment. Mark emphasizes the importance of community and individual donations to sustain the efforts of the Coalition for Justice and Human Rights, of which he is a member, noting that even small contributions can make a significant difference for families. Please join us for this insightful conversation and learn how you can help create a more just and supportive society. Please visit the Coalition for Justice and Human Rights website to make a donation and to make a difference. That's all coming up right now. Hello, Mark. It's good to see you. It's been a couple of months, turns out. How are you, man? It's good to get this podcast going again.
It is, Kevin, and thanks for continued support and work, and everybody else's support and work on making me or allowing me to tell my story. So it's great. And the issues and complexities of weather, poverty, ideological governments, and lack of general funding and how it affects vulnerable people. So yeah, I'm happy to chat today.
Yeah, plenty of things to cover, though of course we can never address it all. But we'll cover what we can and what get your insights and your perspective on things for sure, as far as what's been going on the past couple of months. I kind of wanted to start off with, because I think it's the elephant in the room. We're a few weeks after the fact here, but that's, heat wave and life, and you're helping people, so that takes priority. Can you speak at all to the situation involving legal aid and the government of Alberta from, I believe it was the end of June or beginning of July there?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a hogwash stew, and what didn't make things well and complicated things was that I was terribly misquoted by the Canadian press, and that just they corrected it, but it certainly given the wrong impression. My concern has been that there needs to be a sustainable model that allows choice of counsel, as well as a robust duty counsel system, and ability to ensure that our boutique courts like mental health court, Indigenous court, substance abuse courts are all staffed and you know there to provide the services that are needed. And the delivery model has always been legal aid. And this is just my personal opinion again, but of late, legal aid has been very focused on uh, themselves. I think that as an organization, it's highly inflated. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of investment in layers of management, and a significant amount of funds is, you know, used for this purpose where it could be used for system delivery. And, you know, I don't know what the inner workings between the government and legal aid are. What I find interesting is legal aid says this, the government says that. But as far as I know, that there's not been any document shared or any, like there's been ongoing negotiations, but no one shared the governance agreement. No one shared that. No one shared the interim agreement that they were thinking on. We're getting it all secondhand. And I think as Albertans, because we invest so much money into this system, we should be able to at least, because we're funding it, we should be at least able to see the governance agreement and the current agreement that the government and the Legal Aid Alberta has. I think that there's efforts from I don't know who to exclude the Law Society, and I think it should actually be enhanced in those negotiations to include representatives of family law and representatives of criminal law, such as the Criminal Trials Lawyers Association, or also known as the CTLA. So that's sort of where everything is. When I was misquoted, it was said that I felt that there was too many assessments being ordered, or something like that, which was what I had said was that it's been my experience, in my opinion, that legal aid has not been approving assessments and disbursements of that nature enough. So it got totally twisted around, and people go, "What are you just? Have you turned into a a demon or whatever that you don't want to help these people?" So that kind of got kind of confused in the whole mix too. But so I think things are pushed to the back of the stove, and everything's on simmer now,
Hmm.
and we won't hear much about it till September. But it'll be interesting to see how these two um, systems rejig themselves, and how they present and what moves forward. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
A couple of points from my perspective for what it happens to be worth, and you can obviously correct me with anything I say here. The impression I got, first of all, it came across as an ultimatum from the government, which I don't fully. Again, I don't. I'm not having. I'm not. Just as you are, we're not in the rooms where these conversations are taking place. But from the way that the government was communicating about the situation, and the way that that legal aid was communicating, particularly in the interviews, the stories, of course, a couple of which you were featured in as well, where it didn't really seem like a good faith situation, and it felt like the government was saying publicly, and again, maybe ultimatum is the wrong word, but they were saying, take it or leave it. We've been trying to figure things out long enough. If you don't say yes to this, then we pull your ability to operate." And that just felt very harsh and very cold. And I don't want to say I liked your comment, kind of following up on that, but it really felt true, kind of very appropriate, I guess. I'm trouble finding my words, where you essentially said, "Well, it's an essential ser I'm paraphrasing you, but it's an essential service. You're not gonna tell hospitals to stop operating, or essential services that people need desperately to stop operating. So, you didn't really s or you're not gonna tell the courts to say, "You can't you must stop operating or else." So how they feel that they can realistically shut down legal aid and prevent the services that vulnerable people need in our province seems extraordinary to me, that it would be perhaps communicated in that way. Just kind of curious on maybe your thoughts on that. Long-winded.
Well, again, no one's actually showed any agreements. Like no one said, this is what they're saying. This is what they're offering, you know? So of course, as in any sort of situation when you're getting, this is what we believe, and the government's saying, this is what we believe, there's critical issue items missed in the whole discussion.
Yeah,
And so
right.
I think we can hypothesize and
Yes.
throw ideas and
Well, they did.
look at
They threatened to pull their licenses, their ability to operate, and that just
well,
frustrated.
legal aid said that they were shutting down on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and that would include that would is my understanding is would include that was on the Tuesday when they were
Yes.
um, in early July when they were talking about shutting it down, including duty council, and that I
Yeah.
think was again, in my personal opinion, irresponsible and
That's the
you
good
know
word. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
and the only people that would suffer from that move
Yes.
is the people that had to come to court that morning and those that needed, you know, legal representation or supports. And because, believe it or not, people don't really understand this. So I shouldn't say people don't really understand this, but a number of people aren't, this isn't the most topical issue. So they don't realize that there are actually quite a few people that are charged and aren't guilty. And I'll
Right.
give you an example. Just been in my experience, let's say I'm sitting in a car with a client and it's that client's car and he's driving and tucked underneath the driver's seat, unknown to me, is a weapon or some drugs. And the police pull over the car and they find the drugs or the weapon. Now, me just sitting in there on the passenger side, not having any clue about what's going on, you know, it's been my experience that people in that situation are charged. And of course, they aren't guilty of anything because they have no knowledge or control of the situation. They're just there, going to 7-Eleven or going to their, sister's place or whatever. And so, that's just one example of where people are charged without, without really any likelihood of conviction because they didn't do anything wrong. So to withhold legal representation, whether it be duty counsel, whether it be counts a certificate for a lawyer, and let's say that person ends up spending 4 or 5 nights in custody because of that situation, that to me is very unjust. So I believe legal aid's focus and legal aid's uh, posturing was irresponsible. And again, uh, they waited until the hurricane was like 10 miles away or 10 kilometers away, as opposed to saying, you know, over the horizon, this is what's coming. Um, but again, Kevin, and to anybody listening to this, these are our dollars. These are Albertans' dollars. And we should have a right to see those agreements. And we should have a right to critique those agreements. And we should have the right to present an opinion, how our dollars are spent. So that's about where I think you could leave things right now. I don't
Okay.
know where you could move this forward. Again, I don't know if through FOIP, the Freedom of Information and Privacy Act, a news outlet could request these documents that everybody's talking about. But until we actually see the documents, um, I think we're at a bit of a disadvantage to really find truth.
Yeah. Uh, but the truth that we do know at the moment, thank goodness, is that legal aid is able to operate until at least September, I believe. Now they came into some sort of an agreement since that um,
Yeah,
situation.
they kick the can down the road. So just the present as is, as will be, is gone all the way to is being moved to September. It's sort of like how the U.S. is one day from being bankrupt, and they find some agreement
That's
to
right.
just kick the can down the road and keep the government working for another 3 or 4 months. So, this is, you know, a similar situation, and,
Oh,
I think my last comment is I think that we need choice of counsel, and we need the Law Society, and we need agencies like the CTLA actively involved in this process. They are the true advocates for our vulnerable folks. I don't think the executive and vice president of legal services at Legal Aid are advocates for our most vulnerable. I don't think that the deputy minister and the assistant deputy minister and the assistant of the assistant deputy
sorry.
minister
Sorry.
are strong advocates for the vulnerable. I don't.
Yeah.
I personally believe that the minister is a very honorable person, Mickey Emery. I'm a big supporter of him, and because I've known him through his work in the child welfare system, and I know that he, obviously he's a lawyer, but he's also been involved as a, in trials and that whole process of utilizing legal aid certificates prior to him being involved in politics. So he understands the whole thing. So I think he's an advocate, but again, where he talks and where it's delivered, you get all this mush. And again, you have legal aid, which is an agency that no one has really looked at developing a better model. So we're kind of stuck. And I hope that, again, the Law Society and the CTLA will look at short term solutions, but also a long term solution so that we're never talking about this ever again, Kevin. Ever.
Well,
Yeah.
as far as this particular situation and how each party has approached it, certainly frustrating. So I hope that that never happens again. But as far as the awareness that it brought to Legal Aid Alberta, the awareness that it brought to, I would even argue, the Coalition for Justice and Human Rights, and perhaps even yourself. I think that attention, you weren't looking to have the spotlight on you, but certainly there was a little bit of that because I know that obviously you used to work for legal aid for a couple of decades, I believe. Um,
Yeah, 25 years. So
25,
this
yeah,
is where I kind of 25 years. So this is where I kind of understand the
yeah,
cogs in the wheel
yeah.
and the inner workings of legal aid.
And I
So
strongly recommend that people go to your tweets and really read through that particular, I guess, 2 or 3 days, whatever it was, when you were kind of commenting, and so is the coalition on the official channel, um, and just to get more insight, because sadly, as with most things, human nature, I guess, where it takes tragedy for people to really be paying attention to something, and it would be truly a tragedy if legal aid went away. Uh, that being said, I'm sure, as you point out, perhaps there could be a better alternative. But legal aid is what we have for the time being, and that needs to be kept going until that alternative is available. So once again, I hope that, I'm sure I speak for you as well, where in September, uh, both parties can come to a more appropriate agreement so that we don't have to be having this type of conversation um, again, and it'll be kind of more positive going forward, where so-called ultimatums aren't being presented and people are getting the services that they need through Legal Aid Alberta or the alternative.
mhm.
I think is the best way to kind of sum that up. So that, then really appreciate your comments on this, Mark. You're the guy to talk to, honest to God, from your experience working for them, but also you're very well informed as to how things function in the system. So again, strongly, please to take some time out of your day, people go to the tweets from early July that Mark put out there. Just fantastic insights into the system and why all this is important. Um, Okay, before I get into the tweets in terms of I'm sure we won't get into every single one that I considered important over the past 2 months. That seems hopeful. Uh, is there does anything come to mind? Does anything jump out to you, anything stand out to you from the past couple of months that you really wanna talk about beyond what we
Yeah,
discussed?
I think quickly, and I think it relates to a number of my tweets too, is,
'Kay.
I think, when people, like many people might just see intergenerational trauma as a big word, as a phrase. And my experience especially over the last uh, month and a half, has been really front and center of what intergenerational trauma is. I've been working with a family that, uh, survivors of residential school, day school, victims of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, um, cultural genocide, you know, provided little or no resources to heal themselves, has led to one particular family that I've been working with. And I've been
Yeah.
working with this family for 30 years. And I think I don't even call it professional anymore. It's more of a personal relationship with this family. In fact, it is a personal relationship with this family now. I'd started this relationship because they had lived a couple doors down from where I was living. I used to live in Capital Housing when I was younger, as a young family in subsidized housing, and I had met them there. And worked or tried to help them and be their friend the last 30 years. And, their family has been, blown apart by children's services and by the justice system. And they've gone through tragedy after tragedy. But last month, uh, one of their members of their family had died of an overdose. So I helped with the funeral on that. I drove people to the funeral at their First Nations in Northeast Alberta, and had, tried to provide as much support as I could with them through that process. But then again, just, you know, 2 days ago, another member of the same family passed away again of an overdose. And this this young woman was particularly close to my heart, and I had really a strong emotional connection with her. So it was really hard, and it's really frustrating. And again, from my perspective, intergenerational trauma isn't a word, isn't isn't woke. It's really something that has impacted a large group of people through colonialization, through pushing of Western ideology, and whether it be government or private enterprise, rape and pillaging land, um, has really affected our First Nations, Métis, and you know non-status members of our country. So yeah, and so it's those kind of things haven't been unique in my life ever since I've been doing this work. People dying has been a huge aspect of it, but this week was just a bit more close to heart than many of the other times, I guess. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of in a dopey, tired mood, because I just really don't have the. I need to recharge my batteries. I'm going to take tomorrow off. I think I'm going to take the next. I'm going to work the remainder of this week, but the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off and just recharge my batteries. So yeah, and my tweets have been really focused again on assisting single parents who have a lot of conflict with the child welfare system, the adult income system, and the justice system. So it's a never ending battle. It's, you're bailing a leaky boat. It just doesn't stop.
The kind of situations, if I can speak generally, the kind of situations that you help people with, it's either we choose to pay attention to them and do something about it as a society, or we choose ignorance is bliss and we pretend it's not happening. It depends on how the mind wants to think about it. But if when it's happening to someone that you know, family, friend, coworker, whoever, you might as well call it personal, right?
Yeah, yeah,
As it is for you. So when you can't look away, or arguably forced to see it for what it is, um, and hopefully some, if not all of the resources are available to help these particular individuals. But obviously, that's in a lot of cases they're not. Um, but and for the intergenerational trauma um, where they've been I want to say influenced. That's not even a strong enough word by what what they've dealt with in life, and how they've been treated, and that we all have coping mechanisms, a mechanism of some way, in some way, shape, or form. Um, so some people turn to, abusing drugs, abusing liquor, whatever it happens to be. And when the supports aren't there to get them out of that pattern, um, it can be deadly. And obviously it is. Uh, death is part of, death is part of life. And I don't mean to make light of it, but that is a fact. When it comes to the whether it be residential schools, day schools, whether it be um, racial profiling, any number of things that led to these people being treated in the way that they were, colonialism even, and then they resort to these coping mechanisms, and people can spiral, or they take an overdose when obviously no one intends to overdose. Uh, it's a mistake, and but unfortunately, people die because of it. So I appreciate that, as I'm sure we all do, and perhaps even people listening or watching have have family members or friends who have gone through something, even remotely similar, where they've lost someone close to them because of addiction or because of what have you that led to that person's passing. So thank you for taking that time to go to Northern Alberta to and making these trips and being by their side. Uh, I have no problem, rescheduling a podcast when you want to be by somebody's bedside when you're helping a family through that situation. As the family member, I guess prepares, for lack of a better word, uh, to pass away. That's extremely difficult. So I'm sorry that happened, but I do appreciate that you're there and that you're with them in every sense of the word.
yeah. And again, I have to do the whole thing again this week. I'm sure of it. I've left. Uh, the family is grieving right now, but I'm sure they'll call upon me to help um,
Yeah.
transport, and things like that, and maybe some of the costs. But
Okay.
anyways, yeah. But there was some positive things that
Sure.
happened.
Yes. So sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't all
Yes.
doom and gloom.
No, and I don't mean to be.
Um,
I'm a realist at the end of the day, and I hope that people listening to this can appreciate that you're a realist. We look at things for what they are, good or bad, and certainly you've shared things that have been positive as well. Does anything come to mind?
uh, yeah, some families got their children back. Um, some people won some appeals,
Okay.
and just the general interactions with some families were very positive and fun, and yeah, made work that much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no crushing victory or waving the banners here and there, and
Hmm.
but it's the little ones that you know really. mean the most to me because they're at times are the most hard fought.
Yeah.
Increasing in somebody's visit from 3 hours a week with their child to 4 hours a week is a big victory. So those are, I mean, it's a little victory in context,
Oh,
but
that's big.
emotionally, and that is big. So those kind of things, and yeah. So,
It's
but
the
yeah,
it,
and
it's
and
it, it,
it
it's
just
those things that keep us going. Because I remember one in particular. If I could just jump in, there was uh, a young lady, I believe, who was suicidal because she couldn't um, get access. If that's the right terminology, she couldn't see her children as often as she wanted to. Um, I have to find the tweets to that
yeah,
regard.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you were able to step in. Thank God the family member found this young lady, and solutions were found. And it sounds like she didn't kill herself because she was able to see her children more going forward. So maybe
yeah. And
it's
I
yeah.
took families for shopping for birthdays. I have a great picture on there of me with another great family that I've
Hmm.
been, close to for again 20 some years.
Right.
So things like that, and
Yeah.
things move on.
All right. So maybe we'll go through some of these tweets here. Not every one from the past 2 months, but we'll see what kind of stands out to me here. Um, on July 24th, so a couple days ago, he said, I have a mom who's expecting and needs a stroller, car seat, as well as some general baby items. This beats a shopping cart and a blanket because that's all that some moms who you hope can afford. We're able to find a car seat for
Yes,
that work.
yes, and yes, I am, and I'm from a lawyer in the community, so I'm picking it up Monday. And I actually have a spare stroller that someone donated, so I'm
Hmm,
donating that to another family. So yeah, that one's
fantastic.
saved and dealt with, and so good for no more
Same.
shopping carts and blankets. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That just the thought of that. The things that people have to do. Um, okay. Let's see here. July 21st. Uh, you were out late the past night. You helped move a grandmother and a grandchildren from her son, who has apparently become very abusive, and you found them a motel. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's a fairly meat and potato kind of situation. You're dealing with a family in crisis. They don't want to phone the police because their involvement in interactions with the police
yeah.
have been
Negative.
a disaster.
Okay.
They don't want child welfare involved, so they reach out to me. And
Yeah.
the easy fix is because the shelters are always full.
Yes.
Um, well, technically, they're not. Income support will sometimes expect families that live in Edmonton to go to Calgary or Red Deer or Wetaskiwin or
I remember you talking about that.
Wainwright
Yeah.
or to fill up those shelters. And I see what the government's doing, but they're not looking at this from the family's perspective. And the family's perspective is if you have children in school, you have pediatric appointments, you've got maybe probation appointments, you've got appointments with um, you know, you're also supporting the family's also helping support a grandmother or a cookum or somebody. So you can't just leaving town isn't um
Realistic.
isn't a is it's not, yeah, it's not an option. You're realistic. So yeah, realistic, so the easy solution, because the shelters in Edmonton are full,
Yeah.
in greater Edmonton, is just to get
Hotel.
them a hotel room for 2 or 3 nights and get them calling the shelters and getting them, looking
They
at some
were they able to
peripheral
find a
supports, usually with a yeah, 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 yeah,
sorry, I was gonna say, were they able to find a more permanent solution to get away from that abusive man?
for now, but again, it's a complex situation, and I'm not there again to say the word should. So,
I hate the word should, but go on.
yeah, so I'm not there saying, he should not be staying with you. I don't have to say that.
Okay.
Anybody with any intelligence would understand that, but being in that situation, being that family with all those dynamics. You love the son, you're afraid of the son, all these situations. The last thing they need, especially from a middle class white man, is to use the word should. So yeah, but they worked it out. They're doing well again, and hopefully that won't be a situation that I'll have to deal with in that with that family again.
All right. So I do want to address kind of or touch on the heat wave that we just went through. That would even just for me was absolutely brutal. I can't imagine people who are less fortunate than I am. Just absolutely terrible. You said on July 19th. You said you dealt with a second family as well as a first, but a second family that day told you that the slumlord, their landlord, threatened to up their rent if they used air conditioning. One family already pays $2,100 a month for a crappy two-bedroom house. In another situation, you said you're dealing with another particular slumlord, use your word, whose tenants are in a boarding house and are charging them an extra $20 a month during the summer for the luxury of plugging in their large fans or AC units and you asked him what the heck's going on basically, and he said that's what they're not to get political on you, but that's what their carbon rebates are for. So maybe less so on the carbon rebate side of things and more on the how you what
Yeah,
your thoughts are on AC.
yeah. So it's when you sign an agreement, a
Yeah,
contract with a landlord.
right.
Uh, I've never helped anybody sign one or been part of any sort of agreement where there's an extra surcharge for days that are over 30 above or below 30, because the same with furnace motors. But it's a situation where there's no other term. They're slum landlords.
Yeah.
They don't follow the law. They don't.
Is there a
The
law
tenants
against
that
that?
well, yeah, you can't. I mean, first of all, it's not in the contract, if there is even a contract.
Okay.
Um, Second of all, a lot of these people just don't do taxes because they don't have the capacity or something, so they don't get any rebates. So,
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
so the situation is that they're being taken advantage of
Yeah,
because of who they are and the situation they're in, and um,
okay.
I don't see any
Is there any re
defense for
is
any of
there a
these.
there's no real recourse, they're forced to pay or they get
Well, there is. You can
okay,
call if you're in Edmonton, you call the 311 line and you speak to the landlord and tenant advisory board.
okay.
If you're outside of Edmonton, you have to go on this 5-hour wait line to this government bureaucratic office that just
Mhm.
really doesn't do anything. So we're fortunate in Edmonton, at least, that there's some people on the other end of the telephone that will help. And so, but for those and I work again with families outside of Edmonton, Leduc or Wetaskiwin or whatever,
Yeah,
they're not in the same boat. You read your contract, and if worst, you don't pay it. I wouldn't pay it. I'd try to get them to get an eviction notice or get an eviction order from a judge, and they have to go to court. You'd be given notice, and you can challenge what they're doing. And again, it's very predatory behavior from
right.
slum landlords that are taking advantage of certain families that don't have the advocacy skills, self-advocacy skills, or are ignorant of their rights. And some of them end up paying. So it's disgusting and it happens.
Yeah,
And I'm on the other end to try to help them. Sorry, my cat's attacking me
yeah.
for some reason.
That's interesting to be in the contract because if it's not legal, it's like, well, it doesn't matter if it's in the
Of
contract.
course, yeah, it's
You
not.
can't enforce this.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
I don't think you could put it
no.
in a contract. I mean, you can't put
Of
in extra costs like that. I mean, you're either paying your power
yeah,
or you're in a room and board situation. Or maybe you live in but I don't see any.
yeah.
But so these families are in room and board situations or in boarding houses where they technically are room and board, but they're just like little 1-bedroom closets with a hot pad and maybe a microwave. And
Yeah.
a shared bathroom down the hallway. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, the irresponsible or perhaps even illegal uh, money that's being asked from these slumlords. At least it sounds like some of these people, thankfully, especially during a heat wave, not particularly have AC or some kind of an AC unit or some kind of a fan to keep them out of hospitals or
yeah,
some. So there's that.
yeah,
But they certainly shouldn't have to pay extra for it. I'm sure we all agree with that. All right. Um, on July 16th, you went off to Northern Alberta, I believe here. He said, off to get an expecting mother. She is stranded in Northern Alberta and is scheduled for a C-section tomorrow morning. She has no means. We able to find her, Mark?
yes, I was, and all went well.
All went well.
Yeah. Yeah. Went and got her, brought her back to the city. She had a place to stay in the city, and she was able to make that appointment. And she had a baby boy.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Well, congratulations.
So yeah, and just a very quick piece of work that was
Well, there's nothing quick
that.
about it. Yeah, you had to drive there. You had to drive back.
Yeah, yeah. But interesting aspect, and people don't understand, is people with STIs or infections have, C-sections are the sort of the, way that babies are delivered.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
you know, s-
super happy you found her.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yes. Alrighty. Uh, let's. I could touch on every single one of these. Actually, here's a positive one. Um, on July 7th, you start off a little negative, but it's deserved. Underfunded and never highlighted. The Edmonton Green Shack, in my mind, is the best crime prevention and safety tool we have. It is located in most, if not all, neighborhoods. The Green Shack entwines healthy, recreational, uh, sup- positive support, and caring eyes on our children. Can you talk a little bit about the Green Shack?
Yeah, so the Green Shack is a city-run program where you basically have a youth worker in a green shack. It's usually tagged and graffitied up, sitting in a school field, and it's for children, I think under 10 and under, or 11 and under. Um, and it gives them an opportunity to uh, participate in positive recreational supports, have watching eyes over them, develop new skill sets, um, and feel good about themselves. And it's something other than a video game on a TV screen.
That's
So
right.
I don't know why this isn't funded, but this has been etched. It used to be full time, but now I think it's only half days. Um, so even this great story has a bit of a undertone to it, and it needs to be well funded. It needs to be
I've never heard of it
expanded.
until you mentioned it.
Again, it's yeah, it's all the kids have heard of it.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to budget time, I think our counselors in our city and our province and our feds just don't really appreciate the good work it does. Same with our libraries. Our libraries and Green Shacks program, I think, really makes a difference in our city and in our province. But I don't know of an equivalent, and
Yeah.
maybe there is, but I only know the one in Edmonton, and I just know the great work they do in Edmonton.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad we could bring some attention their way for sure. Put a bit of a spotlight on them for a second. That's fantastic. All right. Trying to find one more positive one before we dive back into other equally important stories here. Um, okay, give me a second. Okay. So this one talks about a indigenous young woman mother called you in tears in terms he said she is uh, fetal alcohol syndrome, FASD. So much so she's on AISH. Her children were apprehended, and a paper was thrown in front of her to sign. She signs it without any real explanation. The document she signed was for child welfare to contact the biological dad's First Nation band, and you're basically calling it a dump and run where the child welfare, as of July 18th, apprehended the children and just wanted to pass them on to who basically
So there's a lot of emotion in that tweet, and certainly
there is. Yeah.
somebody was like, you don't know both sides." And I'm not here to talk about both sides all the time, okay?
Okay.
I'm not here to always be fair.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about it from that mother's perspective, and that person that responds or child welfare, you're more than welcome to share your side.
Okay.
The side I dealt with was exactly the way I tweeted.
Okay.
Um, there's little Again, it's been my personal experience that there's been little accommodation for parents' rights or um, vulnerable people's rights when it comes to their initial involvement with the child welfare system. Child welfare might use, verbs like, you know, you need to sign this,
Right.
you know, you know, but you don't need to sign this.
Okay.
Things like that. So it's how the verbiage and the sentences are used and who they're using them to. And of course, understanding that we're dealing with people under a lot of stress that are in a crisis. And again, that situation was my perspective and the
Yes.
way that that mom was articulating it to me, and based on how I've seen this play out before. So,
Okay.
and
Did the
I'm
children?
more than, and if anybody's watching this that disagrees, then please put your side of it. Please enlighten me on the caring and consideration that you place in ensuring that everybody, including parents and cookums and grandparents and extended family, know about their rights in the moment of an apprehension or during a kinship consultation, or when they have to go to when you want to go to school and interview the children on their own. At least be honest to the families and those that you serve about what their rights and responsibilities are. And yeah, child welfare has a lot of power, but they don't really at times explain that too. So yeah, child welfare has the right to come into the school and talk to my 13-year-old son or talk to anybody else's child if they have concern that that child is a victim of, of some sort of abuse. And that's great. But when you're dealing with a family that's only interactions with children, well, child welfare has been uh, trauma and intrusiveness. Can you imagine your son coming home saying, "Oh, child welfare talked to me in the principal's office today"? And that's usually, sometimes, I shouldn't say usually, but sometimes that's the first contact that families know that child welfare is yet again opening a new investigation. So this tweet is a reflection of that particular incident and
Mhm.
my particular feelings around the way of that from that mother's perspective.
Okay. All right. It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. Uh, Never know which one of these to touch on. It's so everything you share just needs to be out there as far as I'm concerned. Um,
It gets kind of repetitive though sometimes,
it
and
does, and
sometimes I
so
hesitant to post it sometimes because yet again another
oh no, not at all.
same old.
No, no. In fact, I agree with the extent that it's repetitive. Should that stop you from doing it? Absolutely not. In my experience, and this is my experience, but the more things are repeated, I've been doing IT for 20 years, Mark. The more things that I can explain the same thing 20 different ways, and people learn something new every single time. So when you are tweeting something or sharing on any other social media, or you're on a podcast or what have you, the way that you say it here is arguably more powerful than perhaps what even you're saying in text form generally on Twitter. So to hear it, your words, your tone, your voice, your to see your face, uh, I think makes a massive difference in terms of helping people better understand the true nature of the situations that you're trying to communicate, because you're taking the time out of your day, and my God, are you busy with everything that with all these people that you're helping? So to share these perspectives is a gift. We are thankful to you for this. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't want you to ever forget that. I don't want you to think that it doesn't matter or that people don't want to hear it. And perhaps in some cases that may very well be true. Some of these things are hard to hear, hard to read, as they should be.
Yeah, and just, also, I've been trying to add to my, Instagram and that, so, people are more than welcome to go to that too.
Yeah. Gotta do a
But,
little bit more of that, but you've been running off you've been super, super busy. Oh my goodness. Hence the 2 months later, we're doing the third episode of the podcast. It's just been uh,
well,
incredible.
we've gotta be more regular, and I know time's running out today, but, yeah, I've gotta be more regular on it because I enjoy doing them, Kevin,
Yes.
and I think it's important, well, for me to articulate maybe and explain more behind the scenes than just,
Yes.
149 characters or
But,
whatever it is.
that being said, you are about one man, as am I. And with the amount that you've got on your plate with the people, again, it's very time consuming, very energy consuming. So I can appreciate where you don't have a lot of time to put in that kind of effort that you may feel is necessary or even demanded. You kind of want to film a quick thing and off to the next person that you're helping. Having said that, it is, for lack of a better way to put it, a form of marketing, a form of, I don't want to say promotion, but to anything that you can put out there, and this, a tweet, Instagram post, whatever it happens to be, um, to to give people the insight and perspective on what's going on out there, and how we could potentially help you. And we'll get to donations once again a little bit later. That's always a need. Um, in two of your, at least many more, but at least two of your tweets here on June 25th and June 21st. Long story short, you're helping not to minimize the situations at all, but you're talking about the administrative reviews, and you seem to feel pretty strongly on that topic. If there's anything maybe you wanted to address with those.
So administrative reviews, it's a quasi-judicial process where, if you disagree with the direction or decision by children's services that anybody affected by that decision, I shouldn't say anybody, but,
Mhm.
the child, the guardian of the child, the foster parent, someone who has continuous care of the child for a period of time has the right to challenge that decision. And let's say this is, of course, doesn't won't happen, but your group home says you have to wear a black scarf and you want to wear a white scarf, and
Okay.
you're a 14-year-old kid. And sorry, my cat. And if you don't agree with that decision, you have the right for admin review, and where a senior manager and s- somebody else within the department will review that decision and see, yeah, in fact, you can wear a white scarf,
Right.
or no, sorry. So it's a good way to deal with the situation instead of running from a group home or just slamming the door in the face of child welfare, not cooperating with them. So yeah, so it's in the act, and then if you're not satisfied with the admin review, in some circumstances, you can appeal it to uh, the Child Welfare Appeal Panel, which is made up of external members from the community that can vary the decision as well.
Okay. Let's see. I had one here. Where is it? I guess that one. This one seems familiar. Um, well, they all seem familiar. On July 9th, she said, I've been helping a young mom with two small children that, due to our housing shortage, have been living in a motel for about 5 months. This has caused significant harm to the children. Today, I wrote them a support letter for some funds to hopefully get them into their own place. Did they end up getting their own place, or are they still in a motel?
No, they got their own place. And it wasn't my letter so much. It was through the Jordan principle, um, um, which allows the federal government takes into consideration the effects of intergenerational harm. And I think this is a good way to kind of go full circle.
Okay.
Um, the federal government understands the intergenerational harm that they've caused the family through generations, and um, provide that family the opportunity to change their trajectory and provide robust funding and, you know, help. And this was the case to that. So I wrote a letter, sent it to the family. They were connected with one of the nonprofit, non-indigenous, non-indigenous agencies, and they were able to secure funding for 5 or 6 months and to
Good.
get a place. So that's, yeah, that's,
That's a positive.
yeah,
We look for those. You
yeah,
do, I
yeah.
mean,
So
you view every situation in a
I try to,
positive way, though. Yeah,
yeah, try to update them, but you know,
yeah. Well, that's why we try to in the podcast or what have you, kind of follow up on these things just to kind of see where things went. Because while you're in the moment, obviously we don't have a uh, sometimes we don't often hear of the solutions at the time. Do any jump to mind as far as people you've helped regarding income support in the past month, and are there
no.
any positive outcomes?
Well, I'll say this: so income support has become a lot more difficult to work with, just because of the evolution of how people bank and that. So they're able to monitor people much more closely. They've cut back services such as bus passes, extra dietary funds, things like
Wow.
that. So it's been a very difficult road, and that in itself would be a whole different thing. But it's not very much positive on that side of it. Um, so yeah, I know we're running out of time because I got to
Oh
get
no.
going right away for my son's golf. I just want to talk about
Sure.
the importance of donating.
Oh yes. Sure. Absolutely.
So I don't have any government funding. I don't have any corporate sponsors. I rely on small community donations to do the work that I do. And, um, for people that might be inclined to support me, I just want to say thank you. And I really appreciate the efforts. I appreciate the support in the sense that I'm able to move that support directly to the clients. I don't have a marketing budget. I know, Kevin, you're not getting paid for this. Um,
True.
I'm on a shaky laptop here, So, but it's the message that I'm getting out is that y- y- people that are supporting me, it's making a big difference, and I need that support to be sustainable. So even if you can donate $5 a month, that's $60 a year, or and that can get somebody a bag of groceries or a bus pass. It can get them an emergency room somewhere, things like that. So any amount of donation is greatly appreciated. One-time donations, and because we're federally registered charity,
Hmm.
you can get a tax receipt. You just have to go to the Coalition for Justice and Human Rights.org to donate. Some people just e-transfer me money, which is great, but if you do that, I can't get you a
The tax receipt. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to kind of finish things on, and
Yeah.
saying thank you for everybody for doing that.
Yeah. And you mentioned did you use the word dwindle? But you said that you, basically you're desperate for donations right now, right?
Well, I don't want to say I'm desperate. I can only do what I have, and it's not enough right now. So I'm I'm hoping people will,
Yeah.
maybe if
Donate.
they haven't contributed before, to consider trying to donate, for even a one-time donation for $50 or $100. That's great. Goes a long way.
Hmm.
And you know, onward and upward.
Yeah. and again, I speak to the social media posts that you make, and that you try your best to do them more often, and really um, highlight uh, particular stories or people that you're helping, in which where those donations go. Because when we hear, that's what I think people relate to the most, is when they hear how people are personally affected by the money that they like, I gave this to Mark, and this went toward this, which helped this person in this situation. I think it helps connect people more so with where the donations go, rather than just a very relevant general sense, but a general sense nonetheless. So, social media in particular, and you know this, is all about storytelling. So not just financial support, which of course people can donate to the coalition itself, or they can email you an e-transfer. That'll be in the show notes, but it's also on in your Twitter. Mark at coalitionforjhr.org. No secret answer needed. You just won't get a tax receipt doing it that way, but you will if you donate through canadahelps.org, I believe it is.
Well, so it's the easy way to say it is if you go to the website and then there's a donate button, you hit donate, and then there's a drop down tab and you go
Yeah,
to the Mark Cherrington Fund. And if you do that, it
yeah.
sets it all up for you and you get you get a tax receipt instantly on your email.
Okay. So
Yeah.
to be clear, that's coalitionforjhr.org. And so you go there, you go to the contribute to our work at the top right, and then there's a kind of an embedded form, but nonetheless, you click on the drop down on that page, click on the Mark Cherrington Fund, put in the amount that you want to donate, and then the coalition, and as a result yourself, will get those funds and can help these people. You can also, because it's the exact same system as far as I understand it, they both say Canada Helps on them. So I think it goes through that to be deposited into whichever account that is being used. Um, but it's not, I guess, as I say, it's not just financial donations that you're looking for. You've made a regular effort, a regular push, as far as unlocked, used, factory reset cell phones, smartphones that you need for people to call 911 and so forth. How you doing on cell phones, Mark?
I'm out. So
Yeah,
yeah. So if you've got a cell phone, that would be great. Yeah, and I'm good with baby stuff right now, maybe some
okay,
size 1 diapers, some wipes always help. But those kind of things. They can just reach out to me on Twitter or
sure.
just text me. My phone number is on my bio on my X account or Twitter, whatever it's called these days. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also a Mastodon and Threads and the rest of it. Um, uh, yeah, so that's good places to. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So your phone number, email, um, obviously social media reach out. I would encourage you to take pictures of some of the donations that you have, and post those to social media, and then maybe even again people. I'm not sure people want the pictures taken or what have you, but again, it's good to see where the donation goes and who and kind of who it helps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
in that regard, and again, I want to really emphasize factory reset cell phones. If Mark gets a phone that he has to unlock, it is useless to him because he doesn't know the passcode. You don't know the passcode. You don't have the facial recognition set up, any of this. So it needs to be
Yeah,
factory
but
reset.
again, people just if they get a hold of me, then I'll just go through all that detailed stuff with them. But yeah,
Sure.
unlock cell phones. That's the easiest way.
Got it. Hygiene
Um,
products, I'm sure, but you don't need baby stuff right now. Anything else you need in terms of hygiene products?
no, no, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Pregnancy sticks and tampons, not so. I'm good.
Phone chargers, maybe. I guess those could go with the phones. Um, yeah. So these again, it's not just the monetary donations that matter. It's you can contact Mark, and he can get those to the general items to the people who need them. Just make sure that you get space for them first.
Yeah, yeah. But
All right.
yep.
So before as we wrap up here. Um, on July 16th, you happened to tweet on that day when you made that, wasn't quick, but that trip up north. You said you came back to 21 phone calls. You could only answer 9 on the road, apparently, understandably. 46 text messages, and you hadn't even gone through your email yet. So I just wanted to give that people a real sense of on a daily basis that you're getting a lot of phone calls, text messages, emails, probably tweets.
I've gotten 2 phone calls and 4 texts since we started this. That's why I got to get going.
Yeah.
Everything.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just trying to bring attention to that so people get a really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say yes to everybody, even though you try to say yes to everybody, but you can't. You're human. So on that particular day, it was 21 phone calls that you had missed while you're on the road. I'm sure many more come in on different on various days. So any support whatsoever that you can give to Mark and the coalition is fantastic and goes a long way. Really want to emphasize the donations. Please give what you can to Mark's organization. It is the most important donation I make every single month.
Thank you, Kevin.
In my
And
mind.
I know I just want to say that, you do a lot to help me, and I really appreciate it. I really do. And it's hard to articulate that in a text or an email, but I really do, and I thank you a lot.
Thank you,
So,
Mark. No,
yeah.
it's one of the greatest pleasures of privileges of my life to help you in the coalition, but you particularly, and because I know who the people you're helping, and so anything that we can do to help you help them.
Well, yeah, and there's lots of
It's
great
important.
agencies and organizations
Yes.
too. It's not all about me
Oh
in
no,
any
no,
way,
no.
but yeah,
Right now it is. Right
um,
now it is.
well, right now it has to deal with
in this moment.
2 people. It has to deal with right now. It has to deal with a young dad who's kind of lost because he doesn't know what to do with his parenting order and where to take his kids. I got to help him with that. And then I've got golfing in 10 minutes with my son.
Golfing in 10 minutes. The man has to go, people. That's
Yeah.
yes. I could talk to you forever. We won't. It's always a pleasure, and I always really enjoy our conversations. I know the rescheduling kind of got out of hand over the past month here, but
Oh, that was my
good.
fault mostly. Yeah.
I'll agree
And the
to that.
heat. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
heat, yeah, the heat. I couldn't function in the heat, so I had to delay. There was a couple of days where I thought maybe, possibly, I could make it work, but then once I couldn't.
I couldn't, because I'd have to have the fan or air conditioner on down here,
I was barely functioning.
even in
So
the basement.
yeah. So
And I could hear it.
if it weren't for the heat wave, it might have not delayed quite so much. But it happened, and going forward, we'll try to get to things a little more often and
And people go into crisis when it's like hot, extreme
yes,
hot or cold too. So that's the other issue. So it just piles on. But yeah. But
perfect.
okay.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Mark. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. Your time is incredibly valuable. I know you're a humble guy, but so
No,
please take some. Please, I beg you, take some time for yourself. Spend some time with your family, and go golfing. Spend some time with your son. And
well, my son's got he only likes one sport, and it's golf. And so we do the city community thing, so he likes that. So yeah. But
right
I got to
on.
go, Kev.
All right. Thank you, Mark. We'll talk to you in episode 4 of the podcast. Always a pleasure.
Same here. Same here. Bye, Kevin.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Have fun.
Bye. Bye.
You can reach Mark at coalitionforjhr.org. You can also go directly to the website. All of this is in the show note, of course, as well as on the Patreon, in the YouTube channel description, and so forth. You can also send an e-transfer to Mark at that same email address. No secret answer is required. The important difference between donating directly to the coalition or donating to Mark, but when you donate to Mark as an e-transfer, we're not quite sure if that's tax deductible or not. You can reach Mark on social media. He's on Twitter. Yes, we will continue to call it that. At twitter.com/Mark Cherrington. You can also find all the places that he's active online at markcherrington.ca. That's markcherrington.ca. CHERRINGTON. markcherrington.ca is where you're going to find all the places that he's posting online, including his blog, which is on Patreon. Some posts are public, meaning free. Other posts are behind the paywall, if you will. So if $5 a month supporters will get access to that exclusive content. And that also includes early access to this podcast and anything else we can provide early access to. So please check that out and support Mark's work through Patreon. But please note, any money given to Mark through Patreon is not tax deductible, but $5 a month, please, let's support Mark. If you have any feedback for this episode, please contact us. feedback@markcherrington.ca. That's feedback@markcherrington.ca. Once again, it's in the show notes, YouTube description, Patreon description, all that. Thank you so much. We appreciate hearing from you. All right, that'll do it for episode 3. Once again, thank you for watching and listening. We sincerely appreciate it, and we'll see you in episode 4. My name is Kevin. I'm a volunteer for Mark, and we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast. Mark and I recognize that many of the topics that we cover in these podcast episodes are rather intense at times. They're kind of heavy, as they should be. With that said, we fully encourage you to check out the clips available on the YouTube channel, as well as on social media, and get some exclusive, as well as some exclusive clips posted to the Patreon account, exclusive to supporters. We recognize that it's easier to absorb and understand and process this information in smaller chunks, in shorter videos, and you're welcome to do that. On YouTube, you can also skip various chapters, they're called, to the various topics, if you will, to learn, to hear and watch what we're saying regarding that particular topic. So by all means, if you don't want to watch the entire episode or listen to it in one fell swoop all at once, you don't need to. You can jump to the parts you care about, particularly on the YouTube channel. So you can watch those clips and take your time with those, rewatch them, and so forth, and you'll still get the entire podcast listening to it that way. And whether it's 2 minutes long or 10 minutes long, you could take your time with it, right? And listen to it and absorb it and process what you're hearing in order to be better informed, given the heavy nature of many things that are covered. Even though we try to keep it lighted at times, right, when appropriate, have a little fun, have a few laughs, kind of lighten things up a little bit. But generally speaking, this is heavy stuff, as it should be. But these are topics that we really need to cover. And we, as society as a whole, and individuals, all of us, need to take time to realize that these sort of things are happening and these challenges are being faced, and not just by low-income folks or Indigenous people, though sadly those are the individuals that are most commonly affected. We are simply grateful that you're willing to make the time to open up your mind and listen to this kind of conversation, as hard as it may be, to better understand what's happening to some people in our society and the challenges that many face.